Welcome back. I'm here. Today we're going to discuss The Conjuring, the truth about the haunted house. In this video, I will be covering the Perron family. Make sure to watch until the end because I will be sharing all of the most haunting and creepy details that most people do and know. If you enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe. I release new videos every single day. The Conjuring, the truth about the haunted house. In 2013, the first installment of the blockbuster movie series The Conjuring was released, and since then, it has spawned multiple sequels, including Annabelle and The Nun. But what is the terrifying truth behind the story? How much of it is real? Well, it's based on the true story of one of the most haunted houses in history. If you want to find out where the haunting took place, keep watching. Then let's talk about the author who wrote the book that inspired the movie. His name is Gerald Brittenberg, and he is a well-known paranormal investigator. He has written many books about haunted houses, and many of his stories have been used in the movie industry. In 1971, he began working with Ed and Lorraine Warren, and in 1979, they all collaborated to write a story about a farmhouse in Rhode Island that had been rented by a couple and their 7 daughters. The home had been built in 1636, and it sat on 240 acres of land. At first, the parents, Roger and Caroline Perron, along with their children, enjoyed living there. But strange things began to happen very quickly after they moved in. Doors would slam shut by themselves. They would frequently hear screams and other strange noises in the middle of the night. One time, Caroline was getting dressed when she felt something foul grab her around the neck and push her to the ground. Then the terrifying activity became even worse. Roger and Caroline argued often, and they eventually split up and got a divorce. The kids were primarily raised by their mother. Then she eventually found a new boyfriend named Jack. And some people say that he may have played a role in causing the haunting. Some believe that he was an atheist, and he told the girls that the demons were just in their heads. Then he also tried to convince them that the apparitions they saw were figments of their imagination. But the hauntings reached a terrible climax one night. In the middle of the night, the Warrens were called to the home because the police had been called after. Roger had gotten a phone call from someone claiming that there was a death at the Perron residence. The Warrens didn't find anyone dead when they arrived, but once they began to investigate, they uncovered the horrifying truth. They discovered that a woman named Bathsheba Sherman had died in the farmhouse over 300 years prior. She was accused of being a witch and murdering several people. After she passed away, she turned the farmhouse into her tomb. She chose not to be buried in the ground. While the Warrens were investigating, they said that they could feel a cold spot near the hearth, and in the corner, they found a small piece of wood that looked like human bone. Using this evidence, they were able to confirm that the ghost of Bathsheba was haunting the home. To make matters worse, the ghost had already possessed the eldest daughter. They named her Andrea. Lorraine Warren was able to cast the demon out, but not without a struggle, and afterwards, the demon never returned. After the family left the farmhouse, 2 priests actually decided to move in, and they stayed there for 3 months. But they ended up leaving because the hauntings were too intense. A short time later, a couple moved in, and they experienced far less paranormal activity. And today, the home is open to the public. People can rent it if they want to spend the night. Some people claim that they have seen the ghosts of the Perron family, and others say they have seen the apparition of Bathsheba herself. While everyone is debating whether or not the movie is real, the real story is almost scarier than the fictional version. We don't know how much of it is true, but we do know that Bathsheba Sherman really did live in the house. During the Salem witch trials, accusations flew like wildfire through the town. Over 150 innocent people were accused of practicing witchcraft, and according to some sources, Bathsheba was one of them. On June 10th, 1662, a group of men met together to decide whether or not Bathsheba should be put to death for her crimes. At the trial, her brother and sister-in-law testified against her. They claimed that she had cursed one of their children and caused them to become sick. However, Bathsheba denied these claims and blamed the accusers for trying to frame her. The men found her guilty, and despite her pleas for mercy, she was sentenced to death by hanging. As they were leading her away, she turned to the crowd and said that she would rather die than admit that she was a witch. When her brother went forward and accepted the reward for turning her in, Bathsheba screamed, "God damn you and your children and your children's children forever." She was hung on July 19th, 1662, but she did not go quietly. She struggled against her bonds, and even though she was almost 80 years old, she managed to escape her restraints. She jumped off the ladder and landed in a pile of hay. Even though she was injured, she continued to fight. She drew her dagger and lunged at the jailer, John Stetson. The two struggled, and he stabbed her with his bayonet. It took 4 men to hold her down while the executioner finished cutting her head off. Afterwards, the crowd gathered around the stump where she had been hung and placed coins in a hole in the wood. It was believed that doing this would bring them good luck and protect them against witches. Now, let's take a look at the Perron family. Roger and Caroline Perron are still alive today, but they have chosen to keep out of the public eye. Roger works as a contractor and Caroline is a devout Christian. Both of them claim that the movie loosely shares similarities with their story, but they deny that any of it is true. They have never admitted that they lived in the haunted house. Caroline claims that it was all just a dream. However, the author of the story says that this is not true and the parents have blocked him from visiting their home. As for the Warrens, Ed passed away in 2006. But before his death, he had claimed that over 10,000 people had contacted him because they needed help dealing with demonic possessions and haunted homes. Lorraine Warren is still alive today, and she travels around the country helping people deal with hauntings and possessions. She claims that she has never met the Perron family and she doesn't know if the story is true or false. Today, the home is owned by the Ghostland Trust. They offer tours of the property, but if you want to see it for yourself, you'll have to wait until spring. Many of the locals say that they have seen the spirits of the Perron family walking through the halls, so if you want to see a ghost for Halloween, you might want to plan a trip there next year. It's unknown how much of the story is true, but if even just a small part of it happened, it's clear that the home is extremely haunted. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And make sure to check out these videos. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.